Hey guys, what's up? So now I've been farming for about a month now, just over that, about 5 weeks. And my goal ultimately is to try at least for a year and kind of see where that takes me, and see kind of how I like everything. I'm going to kind of give you guys my thoughts right now, within the first month, just for record purposes for me for later, and also um, kind of give you guys an idea of what I have expected and haven't expected, and just what life is like. Um, so for those who don't know what we do as far as our operation, we do dairy cows as our main. We do a little bit of grain on the side, and we also have stock cows is another thing. So a lot to do, a lot of work. We're averaging right now about 16-hour days, more or less. It depends on the day. We usually get up, depends how many cows we have, but right now we're at 50 or 51 or something like that. And so we have to get up around 3:30 every morning. But I get up with one of my uncles every other morning, and then the other uncle will get up at 5:30, for example, or we'll get up at 5:30 and go feed calves and feed chickens and stuff like that. Anything that's not milking related that has to get done in the morning. Um, so that's kind of the main thing, how we start our day. And after doing that for a month, milking in the morning is not exactly fun. It's very exhausting. You're still very tired. There's a lot to focus on. Cows are they're a lot like kids. They're very needy. You have to pay attention to everything that's going on. We give them grain when we milk them. A lot of people don't. We don't let them poop in the barn, and they're, for the most part, they're pretty good about that. We try to treat them as gentle as we can, and for that reason, our cows are a lot calmer than compared to what we've heard from other farmers. So that is kind of a plus. They are a little bit stubborn. They can kick randomly. If you scare them. There's this one. Sometimes there's a couple of cows that are really jumpy, so you got to be very careful. So it's not an easy thing. If you think it's easy, then you're wrong. One of my younger uncle, he got kicked. He's been kicked probably, I think, 3 or 4 times by cows, and by dairy cows specifically, and he's broken both of his ribs, pretty much every time. And for those of you who don't know what it's like to break ribs, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is miserable. It is painful, and they don't heal back right ever. It's something that you'd probably have to have surgery for, but my uncles are extremely tough, and they will walk it off as much as they can. They'll still get up to milk and stuff for the most part, but um, yeah. So I don't know if I've built up my tolerance to that kind of thing yet. I have been kicked, but not like that. I've been kicked in the arm and the cheek and stuff like that. Nothing's too major, but so that's a little that takes up a good chunk of our morning and our afternoon, because we have to milk every 12 hours. So if we get up at 3:30, we have to go back around 3:30. And at night, we keep them on the hill. There's a gate that we shut, so we don't have to go find the cows. But in the afternoon, we have to get about an hour earlier to get the cows from the bigger pasture that we let them out. We let them eat grass, go in the creek and stuff like that. And also they have shade there if they need it. So we only have them locked up overnight. And because trying to do that at night is going to be pretty much impossible, and it's dangerous. Just trying to do that, we'd have to do it on the four-wheelers if we do that. So, so going out in the middle of the night, it's kind of scary, honestly. Like, you guys have seen some of the footage in the past. I've been up there, and it's been a blizzard sometimes, and you can't get up. If you fall out of the snow, you get buried underneath, and it's really hard to get up. So that's dangerous. Most from what I've experienced mostly with that is more, which is just equally as dangerous as lightning. Since it's at the top of the hill and the pasture extends out further from there, there's a lot more area to cover, where we have to walk and stuff. We have to walk near some metal, some fences, and I think there's an electrical line, I think, that runs close to there. And there's a lot of trees, so it's just kind of a hazard at times. So again, not an easy thing. As far as everything else goes, I would probably say that, like, Running equipment's not too bad. Bigger equipment's harder for me to run because of my vision. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I have 2 eye disabilities. I have ocular albinism, which is a big one. Basically, all that means is I'm an albino in my eyes. I just have albino eyes. That's all that means. If I was full albino, I would not be this dark. I would be pure white. So that's another thing. And the second one that I have is called nystagmus. It's a more common one. It's just shakiness of the eyes is all it is. Due to it is partly it is caused from having albinism. But yeah, those go hand in hand, and they are not fun to deal with. So to give you a basic idea, if you want to know more, I can tell you more. But basically, the average human can see 3 times better than I can. So, and by the grace of God, I've been able to drive. I was told all my life that I wasn't going to be able to drive. And thankfully, with a lot of prayer and a lot of practice and a lot of money and time invested into it, God made it happen. So he provided a way. So I'm grateful for that. But seeing terrace, like when I work terrace, they're kind of hard to do at times, especially if it's really dusty. You can't really see the ground. So again, kind of a dangerous thing. I didn't see a ditch the other day, and the aerator that you guys just saw, that's what happened. Is I didn't see. I don't wear seatbelts most of the time. We're in the tractor like that because we're constantly getting in and out checking stuff, and I didn't see it, and it flew me straight up in the tractor really hard. I don't mean just a little like lump. I mean like hard, to the point to where I hit my head in the inside of the tractor cab on the ceiling, and it almost knocked me out. There's been a lot more other incidents that you guys have seen over the last couple of videos, but that's just kind of another thing that's really dangerous, is just stuff like that. So there's a reason it's, numbered the most dangerous job in the world. You're dealing with cattle, which is very unpredictable at times. They weigh thousands of pounds. All it takes is one kick to your head or whatever, and you will either get seriously hurt or, if not worse, death. Same with equipment. You never know if something's going to happen. We had a little while ago here, we had a dad and a daughter. They were driving a combine, or the dad was, and of course they didn't wear seatbelts in the combine. The dad didn't see a steep ditch because he was harvesting corn or something. It was pretty tall, so you can't really see it that well at all in corn. And he hit forward, and the daughter slammed forward into the windshield and went right through it and got caught in the header and didn't make it. I'm not going to get any further detail because I know some of you all are disturbed by that kind of stuff. But I usually don't have stomach problems either. That's another thing. So like when a cow dies or a calf dies, I've seen a calf half eaten. Actually, probably when I was 14 or 15 years old is when I first saw that. It did bother me a little, but it was like the most I do is I just get itchy. I don't get sick or anything like that. My uncles can't look. They'll help me carry it and stuff and work with it, but they can't look at it. So I'm always in the back carrying in the back while they face forward. In the front while we carry it, because even though they're calves, they're still 400 or 500 pounds. So that kind of thing can kind of affect you. If you have an attachment to animals, and I do. I love animals. Even though cows are stupid, but working with them requires patience for sure. And that's not an easy thing to do either. My uncles and myself included, I've been smashed up against them in fences. If you scare them enough or if they run hard enough, whatever, they can knock down an entire fence. I've seen it. And the milk cows did that a couple weeks ago when I first started. And they ended up making me really mad. So it took me 30 minutes to chase them back in the pen. And thankfully the dogs were there to help me a little later after I tried to. I was yelling at him, and the dogs came and helped. So that was nice. So without them, that definitely would have been a much harder job. You say, oh, you should have gotten the four-wheeler and stuff. Can't really drive a four-wheeler in that pasture area. It's too steep and it's not safe. That's another thing too, is four-wheelers, they flip them a lot. So I'm not trying to say it's hard, I mean, obviously it is, but I'm not trying to like complain about it. I'm just telling you guys like what I've seen, what the dangers are and stuff like that. So of course I knew this coming out. Like I said, it's not like I haven't farmed before. I have, but this is official. I'm making money off of this. This is my life right now. I'm hoping it's going to stay that way, and I think it will. We'll see how winter goes. Um, Allergies, that was also another big one. I have severe allergies. Thanks, parents. And because of that, I was very miserable. I was taking shots. You guys can still kind of hear it a little bit in my throat and my nose just a little, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. And that's because 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, I ended up getting allergy shots because I just couldn't take it anymore. It was miserable just all the time, and I couldn't handle it. Um, so if I had to keep doing it and there was no way I could get out of farming and I had to keep doing it, then maybe I would keep pushing to do it. But I don't know. It's physically draining and it's mentally draining. It puts just a kind of a burden on your soul. You can feel it, and it sucks. I hate it. Being miserable all the time like that. That was not fun. So kind of another God thing there. I prayed about it for a day. I'm not even kidding you. Later, one of my family members mentions a doctor to me out of nowhere about allergies, and they say that they give shots. I'm like, oh, how about that? So big impact there. Probably another thing that is kind of a struggle is my size. I'm not that big, obviously. Um, I can do pretty much everything that's required, but I just can't do it for very long. Like when we have to stack bales up in the barn and stuff, or not pie. I mean, it's not like it's a few steps. I mean, we stack a pretty tall shed full of bales. We do at 100 at a time, or 105 at a time, I think, is what the square bale wagon holds. They're little ones, by the way, not big ones. They weigh anywhere from 50 to 80 pounds, and they're not exactly fun to do that when you're my size. And you know, of course, I have methods like if I can, when we get higher, I stand up taller and bend down, and then I kick it with my leg or roll it or whatever. Simple stuff like that. Come up with methods to help until I can have enough momentum. And it's going to take at least a year for that to happen. That's probably the one thing I should have done is I did work out, just not consistently enough. I kind of gave up on it over a year ago, and I kind of regret that because that would have made a difference. But it's whatever, is what it is. That's on me. Um, so yeah, despite the hardships and stuff, I still am enjoying farming. I like working with the equipment. That's probably my favorite thing. I do love animals, like I said. I like the cows, for the most part, other than when they act stupid, as I mentioned earlier. We do have a couple dogs, and we do have a lot of cats. You guys have seen we've got like 30 of them, so that's pretty cool. That was another big allergy thing, so that was also a huge thing. I was allergic to cats, dogs, alfalfa, pigweed. The four things that I was mostly severely allergic to, that I had a severe allergic reaction to. Surprisingly, it's not life-threatening for me. It just makes me really stuffy, and I literally can't breathe through my nose. I'd have to breathe through my mouth the whole time. And so it wasn't necessarily life-threatening. I guess kind of it was, in a way, you know what I mean? Because you can't breathe through your nose, but it also wasn't because, it's not like I needed to be put on oxygen or anything like that. So kind of surprising there with that, honestly. Because I don't know if a while ago I got when I used to live in Colorado, I had a test done, and they were very good about it, and the results were a lot. So that was kind of another thing. I thought about kind of getting them when I was out there, but certain ones, if you keep them yourself, they have to be refrigerated, and you'd have to give the shot yourself, and I don't really know how to do that, nor do I have the room for them in the fridge, so I'd have to buy a mini one and keep them in, which wouldn't be a big deal, but, that's just something else I have to add to the list. So, what else could I say to you guys? I would probably say another thing, too, is just you don't get very much downtime. You might get a couple hours every day if you're lucky. If not, then you won't get hardly anything at all. If there's something going on, like we had one of the motors inside the milk barn go out the other day, so we were out there till 11 o'clock at night. We finally got it wired and fixed properly, a different one installed. So Stuff like that can happen. I do kind of miss my extra downtime, but I think it's worth it for this job. I think that it's a good thing. I think I did play a lot of games. As you guys know, I played WOT and FS a lot, and I did try to play it as much as I could before I moved out here because I knew I wasn't gonna have the time. So I do still play every now and then, but I just don't stream it because I'm too tired, and as it is, I don't think my internet's gonna handle it just yet. We got the fastest possible, and it's not great. So, but I might test it soon and see. So I do miss kind of streaming. That was kind of fun. Um, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, eventually I kind of knew I was going to grow out of it anyway. I'm still going to do it, obviously. I didn't sell my PC, as you guys can tell. So, and I got a new audio system as well. But with that, so it's not like I, don't game at all or anything, or don't have any free time at all. But compared to what I'm used to, that was another big change. Probably the hardest mental thing besides with the job being hard is that I grew up with my stepfather, my mother, and my brother. You guys know Carter. Me and Carter are pretty close, and I've never been this long away from him. I think the longest I've been was maybe 2 weeks, and it's been 5. It's going on 5 weeks now. So that's been another thing, is just being homesick. I'm new to being an adult. I just turned 22. So that's kind of another hard thing that I've been trying to adjust to. So I do call them. I was working a field earlier that you guys saw in the tractor, in the aerator again. That was a 38-acre field. And I ended up calling him on the cell phone for, I don't know, probably like an hour, 2 hours, close to it. So, and I do the same with my parents and some other family members and stuff like that. But that's just been another thing. Like I said in this video before, I had made a lot more videos than I thought I was gonna. I've been pushing it because it was harvest season. I haven't been to harvest in a while, and since probably been 6 years since I was last harvesting until now. So I really wanted to get that out for you guys. So I pushed that pretty hard. I didn't expect to be making content at all because I didn't think I was going to have as much extra time as I have right now. And like I said, it's being squeezed in. So that's kind of something else too to think about. But gaming videos, like I said, unless when we start getting home earlier and I have a lot of spare time at night, then maybe occasionally I'll make a gaming video. If anything, I'll probably do a stream over that because a stream is just a lot simpler. I don't mind making videos, but it's just more time consuming, and time is something I don't have anymore for that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to go out on my own at all as far as farming. I would have to borrow a lot, and I do mean a lot of money if I wanted to start on my own. And that is a huge, absolute huge risk. If I try that first, I'm going to have to save up at least for a couple years. I do not have the money saved up to do something like that. Farming is not cheap, as you guys know. Their numbers are much higher compared to any other job like that. And, I don't mind working for my uncles. They're some of the best guys you'll ever meet. Love them to death, and they're also the best to learn from. So I've been learning a lot. I do mean that a lot. We do fix our fences and stuff. We don't fix our own machines that much unless it's like a broken tire or something like that. Or my uncle, or simple welding, they do that too. I can't weld because my vision is too bad. They said it's very visually demanding. They said they even have a hard time sometimes seeing stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to worry about trying it. It's not like I need to weld, So that's another thing is just stuff with that. As I mentioned earlier, we fixed stuff a lot. There's a lot of breakdowns. That kind of adds to it with frustration sometimes. If cows get out, which is also fairly common, that's another thing. If they get into a field and they start eating food, or if they get into a neighbor's, it just becomes kind of a mess. You have neighbors aren't very friendly sometimes with that kind of stuff, so that's another thing as well that we have to deal with. But yeah, that's kind of been my experience. Like I said, even though it's hard and it's a big lifestyle change, I still am enjoying it. I genuinely am. I've wanted to be a farmer ever since I was a little boy, and I don't regret making it to this point. Because to be honest with you, I'm not sure what exactly I'd want to do. I could maybe do something with PC related. Speaking of which, if you guys need a PC built, there's one for a customer that I just finished that I need to ship out. It's been tested and everything, and I've confirmed that it works. So kind of as a side job to make a little bit of extra money, I am building PCs. So if you guys want a computer built, expect it to take about a month or two. I do have a contract that you have to sign, so it's a legal agreement between you and me, but I'll leave that attachment down below, or some kind of screenshot or something, or a link to it through like Google Docs or whatever, for you guys. So if you guys do end up wanting one, just let me know. That is an option now. I was very debating it, but I do have enough spare time where I can work on it bit by bit. That computer, I had it running in 3 hours or less compared to my usual 5 or 6. So just something else too to consider. You guys might ask, well, why don't you start your own business doing that? Why, if you love building PCs so much, which I do, I genuinely enjoy doing it, but there's a couple reasons why I don't want to do it as a main job. One, it's extremely difficult to, and here's why. I would want to do it on my own, start my own business and do it, because working for Best Buy and stuff like that, if I wanted to try that, you need an IT certification, and I hate that bullcrap that they have. They won't let you just go in and, show them that you can build them a piece. You need an actual IT certificate. You say, oh, no, you don't. No, you do. It's a requirement now. So that's one reason. Reason number two is that if I do something for fun and I make it a job, over time, it's just going to get old, and I'm not going to want to do it anymore for fun. And I don't want that hobby, or that something fun I enjoy, one of the things that I do enjoy besides gaming, to be ruined. So that's another reason. Reason number three, if I was to do my own business on it, the chances of me being able to make a successful living on it is extremely hard. Like that build right there that you guys see that I did for my first customer, most people will charge $60 to $80 an hour to work on it. I can do it in 2-3 hours typically, and that's very average. It's 1 to 2, sometimes 3 hours for the high-end technicians, or the certified technicians, I should say, because I'm not technically certified, but I'm a separate private business, and because of that, also another reason is that you have to be speedy with that. I do not like fast building that kind of stuff, because you can make critical mistakes, and if you do that, you can fry something. Like if you drop your processor on the ground and there's carpet and that shocks it, your CPU's done, period. That static will kill it. Stuff like that, very simple stuff. Or if you don't ground yourself properly, that's another thing. And so it's very risky for that very reason. And I usually charge for like medium size, or for small low end ish builds. So like around, a workstation PC, the very minimum I'd say to spend is $600. And then a gaming PC, a minimum $800. It depends what it is, and the prices and everything, they all fluctuate. But for low range 1080p builds, as I say, I usually charge $100, and I'm probably going to have to upgrade the price, because to make it more worthwhile, I'll probably charge $150. For medium builds, I do $150 to $200. And then for high-end builds, I do $200 plus. It depends what the parts I get. And if it's over $2,000 PC, then I will charge the full 250. And then if it's a custom water loop, which I will do, I know how to do it. I've never done it though before, so I would have to that would take like at least a 2 month, well, maybe not a 2 month project, but you wouldn't get it for probably 2 months if that's something that you're interested in. But for a water cooled build, because of the amount of time and the amount of, I mean, it's a whole new level of PC building. It's literally a whole new level. You have to know what you're doing. There's so many things that you have to know and so many things that you have to get right. You know, the O-ring things, for example, you have to cut the tubes properly. That takes a lot of time, and bend them properly. They have to be perfect shaped, pretty much, making sure that there's no leaks. And, you know, you have to test the pump, make sure that works, and you have to, you know, connect the pipe properly. So for a build like that, I'm charging $500 for that build. It's a lot more, you know, it's literally twice the amount as a regular build, but there's a reason for that. So I am willing to do it if you're willing to pay for it. But that's all I'm going to go into detail about that, because, you know, if you want to know more, just leave a comment. I'll try to answer it, or I'll leave a, like I said, I'll leave a link into the description of the agreement. So if you guys really are genuine about it, go ahead and do so. If you want to contact me about it, you can go to my account, my YouTube channel, and go to About. You will find my email address. It is for business purposes only. I will not respond if it's a scam or anything like that. So it is up there. So if you guys want to email me, say, hey, I want to build. If I do take a while to respond, I do apologize. I get a lot of emails, and I don't check them every single day. I check them maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So do be aware of that. But if that is genuinely something you're interested in, let me know. Like I said, I'm willing to build as many PCs as I can get. You know, I need the cash. So, and I'm willing to do it. It's fun. You know, I'm not going to fail you guys. And you can ask the customer that I built that PC for. In case if you're wondering, that's a 1080p build. So that's a Ryzen 5 5600 and a RX 7600. So, and I'm very impressed with it. I tried watting it, and if you're curious, I was able to push it at max to, in World of Tanks at least, to 268 FPS max at 1080p for World of Tanks. That's pretty good for a 1080p budget system, because that is technically a budget system. But so anyway, I thought I'd talk to you guys about that, give you guys kind of an update of what's going on. As far as I'm doing mentally, I'm doing fine. I'm just tired, if anything. So I did practice averaging like 6 hours of sleep every night before I moved here. I did that for probably about a year, that I've kind of trained myself to get average around 6-7 hours or less than 6 hours of sleep. I've been averaging anywhere from 3.5 to 5. So that, I think that practicing that definitely paid off. But don't get me wrong, it is still difficult. That's probably the last thing that I'd say is, you know, is probably the main reason why I feel so drained all the time, is trying to get sleep. We do take naps, take an hour nap, sometimes half an hour, sometimes we get 2 hours if we're lucky, if we're not too busy. But yeah, I know I've been rambling for a while, so if you guys have any questions, throw them down in the comments. I will answer them. I hope that this gives you guys an idea of what life is like. I do want to get a body cam at some point. Someone mentioned it to me, where I can strap it like to my chest or whatever, and you guys can get a POV of, you know, what it's like. And I want to do that, honestly. I want to do, if the camera can handle it, I want to do an entire day, a full, you know, upload a full video of, you know, 16, 15 hours, whatever, except for maybe when I'm napping or something like that, or having to go to the restroom, then I'll turn it off, you know, just make clips of it. But like if I'm doing anything that's not like life-like related, or if I'm not doing anything personal, you know, if I go to the bank or whatever, I'm obviously not going to record that. But I think that'd be fun. I think you guys might enjoy that video, to see what a full-on experience day life is like. I don't expect everyone to watch it, because it's like, if I do a 16-hour video, 15-hour video, whatever, 12, that's a long freaking video. you know, most people probably wouldn't watch even an hour of that if I'm being honest, but I think it'd be a good idea to do just for information source, or if you really have no life and you want something to watch, then I guess you could do that, see what life is really like. Because I'm just showing you very small bits and pieces of it here on YouTube, and I plan on keep doing YouTube. I'm hoping the views go up from it. So far, they really haven't that much. I've got one video that got 200 views and then another that got 600, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. So my phone's about to die, so I better shut up now and just edit this video for you guys. So I do appreciate you guys watching and supporting me. And we just hit, what is it now? We just hit, what is it, 2025? So we just hit over 6 years on YouTube here. July, what was it? July 9th, I want to say, is the channel anniversary. Something like that. Back in 2019 is when it started, when I officially started making videos. So it's been a long and enjoyable 6 years with you guys, and I continue to make videos for you and make farming content. So if you're interested in that, stick around. And every now and then I will try to do a stream if I can. Winters, it kind of depends. We're more busy in the winters, but it's littler stuff. So we won't be doing field work, but we'll have bucket calves to feed. So it won't take nearly as long, but there's more work to do, if that makes sense at all. So I'll definitely have some time to hopefully do at least one stream a week, when that time comes around, but we don't know. I don't know for sure. We'll have to see. My older uncle's going to quit milking cows soon, which means that's just me and my younger uncle doing it. So I don't know if I'm going to have more or less time or how that's going to work, but I will have to talk with him about that and see what he thinks. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. So, but anyway, like I said, any questions, just throw them down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. And like I said, I really do appreciate all the support. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Peace.